Hello.
Hello.
We were like frozen. Like,
I didn't know if the video was playing. I didn't see it. Anyways, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, everyone out there in limbo land, to Soft Left, a show where comedians hash out news and events as they unfold in a COVID new world. So we hit regional, national, international, and sometimes celebrity noise from all over the planet. So what is Soft Left? It's the opposite of a hard right. Okay, so sit back, take a soft left with us as we weave our way around news and events. I just would like to say this is a donor-supported show, so please follow the link at the bottom of the screen to donate to this broadcast. If you would like to be a sponsor of this show, I mean, we're anything from, beer to marijuana to paper clips. I mean, we're not fucking prejudiced over here, anything. But if you'd like to be a sponsor, please email softleft@gmail.com. So let's meet our glorious panel. All the way from Toronto's East End and full-time lover of all meats, especially cured, it's Candice Gregoris.
well, hello.
And that's amazing. How are you doing, love?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. How's your cat?
He's pretty good. He's political. He's raring to go.
What's his name?
Buster.
Oh, that's the sweetest. I love
He's
it.
a sweetie.
All right, and we're going to move on to our next panelist, the master of the rhetorical device of comparison and contrast. It's Monty Scott.
Hey, how you doing? I thought for sure I was the lover of cured meats.
Well, maybe we all are. We have to do a poll.
Well, yeah. That doesn't mean I don't like cured meats. It's just not the intro. That's fine.
Everybody will notice Monty has progressively been wearing more, clothes with lines. He has a collar on today. This is big. He might eventually show up with a fur, which he has worn performing. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm incrementally classing it up. I don't know why, but that's started at the bottom. I was wearing a shirt, but that, and now eventually snakeskin everything or whatever. I don't know.
And who's R stand for?
No idea.
Oh, okay.
I didn't buy this shirt. I don't even know. So I think somebody gave me this shirt. It was given to me golfing because I was shirtless.
It's gorgeous. I've never who calls a golf shirt gorgeous. What are you gonna do?
Not
what
often.
are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Next up on the panel, it is master baker and style icon. Have you ever heard of the two of those together? It's Phil Luzzi. Hi.
Hey, what's up, girl?
Just puffing away on the pufferoni. How about you?
Same.
Yeah, you've got one that's just started. I'm finishing one up.
That's good. How was your week?
You know what? It was pretty good. Today, though, I just felt tired the end of today.
I thought I was going to be the lover of cured meats, too.
Well, I know. It's just that she's
me and my prosciutto.
I know. But you know what? I think we all are lovers of cured meat. So maybe I'm going to recycle that. I'm going to recycle it again.
I love it. Who doesn't love a good nitrate?
I know. Who doesn't?
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my God. Wouldn't dream of having this without you. And your next and final panelist, our foreign affairs correspondent, whose last name translates into an ancient clog. That's what I saw today. Or if it's today, it's sandals. It's Carol Zoccoli.
Hello, Sandra.
I went
Carol
online.
Sandals.
Yeah, Carol's sandals. Yeah, exactly. Carol's clogs.
I'm the cousin of the famous comedian Adam Sandals.
Adam Sandals? You need. Oh my God, that is the best. Adam Sandals. I love that. How you feeling today?
I am, things are pretty bad in Brazil right now. So it is kind of tricky because I am, of course, I feel safe here at my house and everything here in Toronto. But it's like a roller coaster, And I've been away from the news and social media as much as I can. Yeah. But I don't know. There's like this. You want to see it, right?
Yeah.
I think like we're watching the end of the world, and it is too fascinating. We want to watch it, right?
It really is. It really is. So, that's a great way lead into the first story that we're going to talk about this evening. So tonight we start on the continent of Africa, where a plague of locusts is ravaging food supplies that experts say will bring on another crisis, famine. And then by the end of 2020, some 270 million people will be on the brink of starvation. So, yeah, I know this is heavy shit for soft left, but this is what it is, guys. We got to go through this fucking shit. And so anyways, locusts have already damaged hundreds of thousands of acres of land earlier this year, and measures, to get rid of the locusts, like insecticides, could end the outbreak. But because of COVID-19 and social distancing and the need to wear masks, it makes it very difficult to work in the Kenyan heat. So there's a lot of things going on. It's really fucked up. I just wanted to share with the panel, one of the most famous locust plagues is found in the Bible in Joel 2, verse 2, 4 to 5, or what is, I don't know. I don't know those numbers. Does anybody know how you read the 2, 4 to 5?
Verse 2, no, it's chapter 2,
2.
verse 4 to 5.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. So
The Italians are speaking.
always.
Oh my God.
So what the gnawing locust has left, the swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust has left, the creeping locust has eaten. What the creeping locust has left, the stripping locust has eaten. My question is, who the fuck is Joel?
Yeah, I was going to ask, is he an apostle? Is he the one I forgot?
Yeah, I went and did some research on the guy, and it was like, it turns out he was the second minor prophet. I don't know who the first minor one was, but apparently he ministered to the southern kingdom of Judah. And I love this line. It says, "Not much is known about him or how his message was received." So, so what do you like? What do you guys think of the locusts?
I absolutely love that. Like, he may not have been well received with his locust talk. Maybe don't invite the locust guy next time. No.
Yeah, it's like
It's
this guy's just gonna. Yeah, he's gonna talk about how your crops are gonna go down. Yeah, but basically they were saying that this verse comes from that when God was delivering Israel from slavery in Egypt, he sent a plague of locusts. Okay, this is the first time we see locusts, and then hundreds of years later, he was judging them for straying from him. So he sent Joel, this guy Joel, and Joel told them that God wants repentance. And in all, and with all Bible logic, God disciplines his people, but he also defends them. And there's a couple of things that says, it's shitty now, but if you say my name, you're acting kind of crazy. Hey, baby, I'm lazy. Those are my lyrics. Yeah. So if you say my name and you praise me, then I will work on your enemies, and you will be plentiful once again. So there you go.
What's the devil does?
What's that?
Right? What's the devil? What's left for the devil after this? God, like, I'm gonna just fucking kill your enemies,
I hear you as though you're literally on a mountaintop right now.
Oh, I do too, Phil.
It is
Oh my
weird.
God, are we all on mountaintops right now?
I hope so. Although I don't think so.
Are we all?
Okay, I just got word from our.
Wednesday.
Oh, sorry. I just got word from our command center that our Facebook has crashed. Command center, is Facebook crashed like the whole thing, or is it just our program? Is it the whole thing?
Facebook live stream.
Live stream.
Oh,
Have the locusts got to Zuckerberg?
Is that why you say go to Yahoo? Oh.
That would be a good news story, Monty.
It wouldn't be. It would be one of the best things. Top 10 things locusts have done this year.
It would.
Oh my God, it would be the best. Like, that's where the locusts got to go. This reminds me. Oh, sorry, just one sec, everybody. I just have to tell the audience that you need to go to the YouTube live stream. So that's in the Facebook event. You'll see that, or you could just go to Soft Left on YouTube. You'll find it. We're here. Sorry, Facebook. That's what I like. Do you guys ever like during this is going on, you're watching TV and you're like, if the internet crashed like they said, what would we do then?
No,
That's what I want to know. Like if it crashes, what are we going to do?
We have to like knock on our neighbors' doors.
But with the social distancing, yeah, we will then.
no, I watched a video that I regret about this guy like talking about a blackout that is about to happen like anytime it can happen.
Oh.
And then he was talking about the consequences. It was like 3 days, like just crying, mourning the end of the world, calling my family and saying, I hate you, but I love you, you know.
Who needs landmark forum? You just need a good electrical threat. You know?
Don't ever watch nothing like that.
I know that I have those. Go ahead.
Well, I've heard vaguely about the power cuts too, as far as the shit they use to cool the nuclear plants eventually is electrical. So if they lose electricity long enough, all the plants blow up. So that would be a huge problem in the dark.
Would they not have? Sorry, like I'm ignorant, but wouldn't they have like generators on site though?
No, but I mean, over any extended period of time, apparently they will not have enough power to cool the rods, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
At least that's what I understand. I'm no expert in it, but that's what I.
That's why they want to shut them all down. Because of this very thing.
Well, the idea, I think in that scenario, there's a number of generators all around North America, as an example, but all around the world that once they blow, it would take a hell of a long time to replace them, and you'd be doing it in a blackout.
Oh.
So it would be very difficult to replace these things, although possible. And by the time you're getting them back online, like a year later, or a year and a half later, you'd already have a big power problem with the power plants because they're not set up to create their own power that long, I guess.
Did you guys remember when we got that fucking emergency alert on our phones that the nuclear station in Pickering had something happened?
Yeah.
I remember just being like, okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
What do we do? Like just.
I love that one where I only got the last one where it said, yeah, the power plant's okay. And I'm like, thanks. I wasn't really wondering. I was asleep, actually, but cool. And your wife is safe, too.
Oh, my God.
Since you're just leaving ominous good tidings to people.
Jesus.
Because, like, I guess if that were to happen, like a nuclear situation, a nuclear event, I mean, where do you go if it's close by? You literally just got to leave.
Yeah, I mean, the only other nuclear situation I know is Phil Luzzi, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's hilarious.
I love it.
Oh, my God. I just feel like 10 minutes.
I love those.
10 minutes.
Oh, that's so great.
I didn't see the video.
Oh,
was it a video?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Joanne came up with her video.
I just saw something frozen, but I didn't see anybody moving.
Oh.
What was it?
We're moving on to the next subject.
Yeah, and that is Candy Gregory.
Yeah, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, which is CBC Front Burner, and they did this story on some whistleblowers at Amazon that recently got fired. And I was also reading another story about some things that are happening in Europe at Amazon. And so in the States recently, what has happened there were some tech workers that came forward and signed an open letter late last year to say, hey, Jeff Bezos, we love this company, but Amazon should be more of a leader in the environmental front, and we should have better planning, and we should be contributing more since we're taking so much from the environment. We should be contributing and Amazon should get its shit together on the environmental front, basically. And more recently, at some plants in the United States, with the COVID and everything happening, there were a lot of workers in the distribution sites that were saying, hey, it's not safe here. We don't want to go back to work. We don't want to go back to work here. There's not social distancing. And we're being asked to deliver things to people that are not essential, and our lives are at risk. And we need to make this to be a better situation. And the people in the floors went to tech workers at Amazon and said, hey, will you stand up for us? And a bunch of tech workers did. They said, yeah, we totally agree. Things on the shipping floor should be safe, just like us tech workers who we got to go home and work from home. You know, we should be considering the safety of the people on the plant floors. Well, about 4 of those people got fired, saying that they had retroactively violated a publicity clause that Amazon put in later. And I think, to me, the big thing that was surprising about that was that it was actual tech workers that got fired as well for standing behind people on the floor. And so I thought, oh, isn't that like an interesting thing from like the idea of like new labor movement, is solidarity between, could there be solidarity between tech workers and people on the floor? Or now with what Amazon has done, particularly in North America, chilling effect on people speaking out, because now you can get fired for even saying you want improvements. So not just Amazon sucks, but saying, hey, this policy should be better. There's now something in place that says you can't say anything negative publicly about the company. That's one of the regulations there now if you're an employee.
I think Jeff Bezos is the most hated human being on earth right now, because he's making so much money and there's so much power in this guy's hand. I've never seen this guy speaking. I don't know what he thinks. I don't know, you know, his Alexa is in everyone's house taping everyone. Who's this guy? You know what I mean? So I do think I think that the people have like such a great opportunity to the workers to get together and fuck some shit up. You know what I mean?
Seriously,
I agree. It's the worst of times, I think, you know, and people, he became, you know, the world's first trillionaire during a pandemic. This is when everyone is going to be the easiest to be taken advantage of. And he's found himself in the position of being the only one able to supply certain things during a very bad time. And it's going to tip over at some point, but this is the evil we're going to have to live with until that happens.
And that's like a big part of that, sort of that idea of crisis and opportunity at the same time, because with all of this stuff going on in North America and all the resistance to any kind of labor organization, let alone letting a union in at Amazon, in Europe, right, in both France and in Spain, where there are distribution plants for Amazon, because a few years ago, Amazon expanded into France, where there is laws in place that you have to work with a union and settle with a union, and labor should be organized. Well, Amazon is finding a way in Europe to make that work and pay those people more. Whereas at the same time in North America, they're doing everything they can to choke off labor. So maybe there's a place for like government too, to, you know, to put that in place for labor rights.
I think that the government, the American government, at some point will break Amazon down. It's not possible. Like
they have to.
It's too much power into one person's hand. It's too much. Like, this is not healthy. Like, we can't.
No, and you know, just as he's become, just today I got an email from Lead Now. Do you guys get your petition emails all the time? That over the weekend, Amazon quietly cut their workers' pays. The worker this past weekend, they quite on the verge of him becoming a trillionaire. It's like, what is this guy doing? Like, what are these people doing? You know, all I could say is we need Jimmy Hoffa. Like, if Jimmy Hoffa was around, would this shit be going on? Fucking Teamsters, you know what I mean? He'd be fucking burning cars, putting them in rivers. Like, that's right. Like, This is
Well,
fucked up.
So yeah, you basically could talk to Bezos about his like employment policy by saying like, "Yo, man, lighten up. You're doing pretty good. You got a little room for a couple bucks extra an hour. Like, you don't need to be a hard ass all the time. It's not like you're selling something with no margin."
All I can say is that everybody, obviously on the panel, but people out there watching, like, if you can, I mean, I'm avoiding Amazon at all costs. There's all this curbside pickup all over the city. You can buy anything. You can literally get anything you need. So many stores are now starting to open their doors, which I know that we're going to be talking more about that a little bit later. But yeah, like, fuck this guy.
Totally fuck that guy. Like I hear you. But then here's where I get the conflict with that, Sandra, because like in principle, I totally agree with you. And I haven't ordered anything off of Amazon but I've ordered from other places, right? Like I have done it. It's not like I'm innocent. I ordered from Sephora.
I did order for them. I did.
Yeah. So, but my thing is then that's when I feel like there are people who work. There are people who are being employed. There are people who, if Amazon, like that, they will lose their jobs. I would just like for those people to get paid fairly, to be able to work in safe conditions.
For sure.
And for that motherfucker to pay his fucking taxes already.
Amazon is literally the United States Postal Office. That's what it should become. That's what people have been talking about. Make it a utility. This guy's running a utility. And they even said the same thing with fucking, with Steve Jobs and these, what's his name? The other guy, Bill Gates. But Steve Jobs, like, the government funded that research. Like, whatever became the great, like, invent, American invent, whatever. The government funded those things. So in essence, it is a government utility. They funded that. So it's like but instead, because America's who they are, Elon Musk was on fucking Joe Rogan's podcast saying that because America's about the land of the free, they shouldn't have, people should have had the choice to quarantine. That's what this fucking psycho says.
I mean, they basically have had the choice, really. Yeah. And that country's been running amok since this all began. So that's exactly what's happening. And if in a perfect world, I think someone as rich as that, there would be like a limit. If money is our most common resource, then you can have a maximum in a lifetime that you can earn. After that, it goes back to the community, like $80 million or something. Like, no, even if you went to the best restaurant on the planet for all 3 meals every day of your life, that's your maximum, like.
Oh, Phil, that'd be a lot less than 80 mil even, Like,
exactly.
$1 billion is, there'd be no way you could spend it yourself. You couldn't even be that coked up. There'd be no way.
I don't even know.
No, and we need to remember that Jeff Bezos, he got a divorce, and he gave his ex-wife half of what he had, and remained the richest man in the world. Like, didn't even change. Like.
Fuck you. No, but literally fuck this guy.
Settlement, she's like one of the top 15 most wealthy people in the world.
Well, yeah, she got half. She's got
royalty. That's essentially royalty.
Big time.
It's been 10 minutes.
Monty.
Why am I the only one that can't see these videos? Anyways, next up on the fucking lineup, we got Monty Scott talking about vaccines.
Vaccines. Yeah. A few questions on vaccines. Now, obviously, I don't know anything medically, but I do know first of all, SARS was out there. They put a big push to get it back. That's a coronavirus. They had a big push to get a vaccine for it. Obviously, didn't work. They didn't do it, and then it did go away, so they stopped bothering. So that's out there. They didn't really bother to work on it anymore. That's coronavirus kind of 1. Now we got coronavirus 2 in this aspect, and not to say I'm not skeptical we can get a vaccine necessarily, but I'm skeptical from the point of view that they've basically said 12 to 18 months. That would be the earliest you can do. And then, with Trump putting pressure and everyone putting pressure and a lot more people working on it, they're like, oh, maybe we can get it by the end of the year, or we're talking. They basically crunch it down every 2 weeks. They're like, yeah, I think we could do it. Maybe let's call it 11 months. Pretty sure 11 months. And then, before long, they're like 9 months. I think we're pretty sure 9 months. And I'm not sure it's not 36 months. Because they don't know. They've never done a vaccine in under like 4 years or something. So they may have a bit of a head start on this. They may have more people working on it. But I guess 2 questions. How much pressure do you think, how full of shit do you guys think they are as far as them crunching the numbers down? And when or do you think we're going to get one of these vaccines?
Well, I think we're going to get one like ASAP, because the first thing, even that, greed will always be a good indicator, or like a motivator. Money will always be. And every country wants to be that one to find it first, luckily. But I don't know how long it'll take to find a vaccine. If they find a treatment that's very effective, they might take a little longer because the pressure will come off. But I think if nothing comes, they're going to just keep going for it. I would say though, like 11, 12 months for sure. From what I've been hearing, I knew nothing about this subject before this pandemic,
Oh yeah, me neither. I mean, like I totally agree with you. Like I think obviously they couldn't be more motivated. So they would obviously do it as quickly as possible. But my thing, I guess, with it is they really thought a year from, say, January was earliest you could possibly remotely do it. But that's if everything went perfect. That's if you fluked out everything, pulled off a year. And then now they've been kind of crunching it down further, whereas the idea that even 18 months would be an incredible job. So I guess that's what I'm kind of saying is like in all our minds and kind of what they've been saying, they've got us crunched down to like a year. But a year would be completely like an unbelievable job of putting together a vaccine. It would be like everything worked perfect, and there you go. So that I guess that's my thing,
Yeah, I don't believe it. I think people like to give people like little hope, and there's a possibility. Yeah, there's 34% of chances that that everything's gonna be all right and it's gonna happen in 9 months. But every single scientist that I've heard never saw that happen. So maybe
you're totally right, Carol.
Yeah, maybe this is gonna be the first one, but
we're living through a lot of firsts, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But you just sort of made me think. It's like, well, when I hear from scientists, I hear one thing, and then hearing from like a public policy person, you hear something else, and you're like, but you're not a scientist or a doctor. So I feel like maybe you're delivering this news for another purpose.
Well, also, like, it's not the actual medicine that, I mean, yes, looking for that medicine, but testing the medicine and then waiting that time to see what the side effects are. That's where you can't escape the wait time. And anyone who's claiming they can find one any faster is doing something probably American and just getting herds of people who are willing to accept money in exchange for their health.
Yeah, true enough.
I mean,
18 months to a vaccine and 36 months to a safe one.
So SARS, they never came up with a vaccine?
No.
So maybe, what if maybe there is no vaccine? And it's just that, the immunities, you start to, with all the testing they do, they're going to be able to like come up with a lot of data that, maybe eventually a vaccine might be used to help, but that it's like, it's all, listen, the vaccine is Mother Earth. You follow the mother and you pause and you stop. Because why the people that are getting sick, and not, I know people are like, well, there's been healthy people that have gotten sick, whatever it is. The point is that somehow, in certain parts of the population, it all may all happen to us, we're being exposed to toxins. And disease only happens when, like, I saw this one scientist say that when you make garbage, like, it's not like flies don't come, or what is it that comes to the garbage? You make the garbage and then the flies come. You know what I mean? So we made the garbage, the flies are coming, the locusts, right? They're coming to the garbage.
Exactly. They're just telling. He was expressing what the cycle is. I think in that verse you were reading, right?
Yeah.
It's like it starts and ends with the locust. It eats itself. It eats its garbage. The garbage does this. Blah blah blah. And so
poetic,
begins a new world.
It's so poetic.
Sandra,
Phil.
I would love to have you working on the vaccine with everybody in there, and somebody's looking into a microscope, and you're quoting Joel and talking about the Mother Earth, and they'd be like, "Listen, I'm trying to concentrate on microbes over here, for Christ's sake."
I love when Sandra digs a quote. It's there for a reason.
Laboratory.
That's the reason why the left is not taken seriously, you know?
Like, yeah, I mean, you know, was the best thing that I saw, one of the best was Donald Trump taking that fucking malaria drug and willy-nilly. I'm like, this guy's he is telling jokes. Let's not take anything he's got to say. But like the fact, I love when he said, he goes,
and Nancy Pelosi called him morbidly obese.
That's not true.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she did.
I heard it.
I mean to say that he's not morbidly obese.
He's morbid and obese.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely a shot. She could have just gone with obese, but no, she turned it up a notch.
I would love at the end of that movie. At the end of that movie, Donald Trump is he's tattered, he's broken down, and then Nancy Pelosi comes across the corner and she's like, "I always loved you," and he's like, "I always loved you," and then fucking smash 70-year-old style.
By smash, you mean like a penetration?
Yeah, like sex.
Oh my God, that would be like, hey, there's a niche for that. Make it a porn, make millions.
Yeah, I don't want to be judgmental, but Sandra, why are you making me feel that way?
What's that, Candy?
I said I don't want to be judgmental, but Sandra, you're making me feel that way.
Why? In which way?
Oh, I'm just like, Nancy, just no. That's just no. I just want Donald Trump. No.
But I'm saying
movie. I mean, to someone else, I don't want to yuck your yum if you're into it. I'm just saying that's not my jam.
But I think like every person who is very powerful and very like bad, like Trump is, especially like this stereotype of like, you know, authoritarian kind of man. Don't you? Yeah.
An authoritarian kind of man. I give the authority. Okay, sorry. Go, Caro.
Don't you keep picturing them naked? Because I think, you know why? I think their bodies must be so disgusting. That's why they're so angry all the time.
Like Montgomery Burns on The Simpsons.
Because you know when you have like a weird mole or something, and you keep looking at it at the picture, and they're like, "Oh, I'm disgusting." So those guys, their entire bodies are like weird moles.
I'm sure, like the fact that he's like, I'm just gonna take the malarial drug, and then he's like, and I'm still here. Like, you know, he's that you know those kids in school where they're like, oh, they're just popping pills out of their parents' fucking prescription.
Yeah, they're like, swallow a rock. Look, I did nothing happen.
Yeah.
It's been 10 minutes.
Take that booty, Joe.
Take that. This party.
Oh, it's party time. I just. Yeah, now it's time to fuck.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? All right, people. Oh, nice, Sandra. Nice.
Woo! God, that was Trey funny. Next we got fucking Carolina Zoccoli.
What's up? Yeah, is this that story about the rich kids in college?
Yeah.
The rich people bribery.
Yeah.
The colleges, and this thing is coming back. Like it's a long story, right? Yeah. So this actress, from Full House. I didn't watch it. Full House. I'm sorry.
Uncle Jesse's wife.
But I know she's famous. Like I can see she's like very known. But I've been thinking that the coronavirus has exposed something in our society, like the who are the essential workers, right? We've been all talking about that. Who are the essential workers and blah blah blah. And I think the meritocracy is something that is gonna be hard to defend after all of this, right? And and I think the expose of the stories like that, maybe gonna be it's gonna be very good for 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 the meritocracy discussion and mentality. And what do you guys think about this?
Well, to me, it's that.
It's America.
Yeah.
Like, she's
But I
not the
think
only one doing it. She's just the scapegoat. And I think she was forced finally. That's why we're hearing about it again. It's because she finally just pled guilty to the fucking crime of doing it, because she couldn't escape it. She couldn't buy her way out of it anymore or publicize her way out of it either. So
yeah.
she's taking the bullet, taking it for the team. And hopefully that'll stop, because first of all, a year of college at an Ivy League school in the United States is ridiculously expensive. Is like crazy. It's so, that whole system is just like the same as she's the Jeff Bezos of education. You know what I mean? Like, she's just fucking, I don't know.
What they're buying, right? It's what they're buying. What they're buying is
bastardized it. It's like not worth anything anymore because you have so much of it. It's like, I don't know.
No, but you're right, because then those
indictment of what's her name.
But those kids end up becoming presidents of the United States, like George W. Bush. Parents buy their kids way into school when they're not smart people, and
Donald
they have
Trump.
yeah, they have cocaine charges. They've had criminal charges, and then yet there are people who are in jail right now for marijuana possession for a fucking single joint, and those people will never be able to run for president. Never.
People are in jail who are unable to get into those schools and eventually turn their life around, and they became like criminals in some manner or another, and they were rejected from those schools because there had to be room for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Although I'll say this, Carol, is I mean, I hope it would change, but I don't think so, because they're pretending it's a meritocracy, and it never has been anything remotely close.
Yeah,
much
exactly.
like the Full House chick, she's like, I got to get my kids in this school because
yeah,
what the hell? I don't want them robbing liquor stores. I need them, I don't know, on the outside doing whatever. And so
who made this?
They'll go back to the illusion.
Well, it's an education nightclub, right? It's like it's not really like you could hear those songs and drink liquor anywhere, right? It's just that they want to be in that club. It's like, why there? Like, it's because they're buying their kids a network. Like I want my kids to make friends with other rich elite people to make sure that my kids stay rich and elite. So that's what they're buying. So, like,
of course.
Yeah.
And our parents ensured that we would have a network of amazing, beautiful people. Isn't that lovely?
Aww.
But I think that I think it's revealing all of the inequality, because when everybody's like, how does the fucking guy at Loblaws, at the grocery store make $15 an hour? And they gave them what, $1 or $2? Galen Weston is fucking, it's like, you're making all this money. These people should be making $25 an hour. Not remember $20 an hour, $25 an hour with fucking benefits. Because I told you guys, like, when my sister was a cashier at this grocery store in Sudbury, this is 30 years ago. The top cashiers were making $25-$30 an hour. 30. What changed? Those people could send their kids to university and be able to go on vacation and have a retirement and give things to their kids when they die. But then slowly over time, the people in power took that away from all of us because they stole it. They took down the unions. They took down the whole fucking thing. They worked behind our backs and they made us busier. Right? They introduced all this shit. Oh, look at here. Look at the distraction. And you're like, no, you know what? No one's people are distracted. but I feel like people's focus is coming in.
Yeah,
know?
and
Well,
sorry, Monty, go ahead.
Oh no, I totally agree with you, Carol. That it's exposed that it's exposed what it is, and it's exposed that the essential workers should be getting paid properly, and it's exposed all of that. I guess I'm just skeptical that eventually there'll be change.
Yeah,
I think it's. I'm with you too, because we see sometimes how slow change is, but when you take into account like just the fact that, I don't know, here we are where women can, we can do, we're equally at the table here. That took some time. Not equally, but I just even feel like those old systems, capitalism made hierarchies, but to the earth, there's no hierarchy. It's one energy. Like, we can all do our things and be rewarded for them in some way, but like.
but what my question is, the humans, they're gonna prefer to learn or to die? Because
That's it.
I think a lot of them want to die.
Yeah. You're so right. It's true. That's exactly it.
At the end of the day, we are overpopulated,
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, they don't want to die, but I think they'll take death with no work over, thinking about something. There might be some of that, but and then they're like, oh man, I really should have thought about something.
Yeah.
Right when it's all over, they're like, I probably should have just thought. But anyway.
Also, there's nothing wrong with wanting to die. Like, I think we put this big weight on, what do you want to die? You want to kill yourself? And it's like, yeah, I'll do whatever the fuck I want to do.
But I'm not even saying that like in an individual kind of dying. I'm talking about like more like, because the way I see, for example, what is happening with like in Brazil right now, and looking back, everything that happened that led Bolsonaro to power, and now what is happening, it looks like a big social suicide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like if it was a collective suicide, and in a way, I think like I think Freud used to say like humans, we have a life impulse and the death impulse.
Death drive. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I think sometimes the death one is leading, and I think that this times is this kind of time.
It's been 10 minutes.
Serious skipping.
Okay, really skip.
That was serious, man.
I love it.
I love that sound.
Rocky Balboa.
Guess what, guys? I couldn't see that video either, but we are on our final hot ticket. This my girl, Phil Luzzi.
Hey guys, that's my girl. So
Hi,
today I want to talk about basically the reopening of our economy, and Doug Ford reopened the economy, and I noticed it today more than ever. I was out and traffic was there. 5 o'clock, there was there was rush hour again, and it's been a while since I saw that. And at first I was like, oh, this is too early, and are we succumbing to the pressure of the United States because we share a border with them, and blah blah blah. And you hear stories about Italy where now there's flocking happening. So like people are so excited that the barriers or whatever restrictions have been removed that there's flocks of people. And scientists have also said that there has yet to be a pandemic without a second wave. So a second wave is pretty much guaranteed. So my question that I'm bringing up to you, and it was inspired because both driving twice, I heard a commercial for lay people to come and work at long-term care facilities. So like they're calling out for people, like regular people, to come and use their skills to care for people. And I thought, wow, they ran out of the nurses and the caregivers there, they resorted to the military to take it under control. And now the military is suffering greatly from COVID-19 outbreaks because they've been covering that sort of job. And they're calling on lay people, basically sacrificing these people to go and work in these facilities, knowing they're probably going to get COVID-19 because everyone's dying of it in these situations. My question, are we going back to business too early? And I know that the long-term care facility is sort of a separate situation, but it kind of gives an indication of how far we've come so far, even in this pandemic. Let's talk.
I think it's too early in some ways. When you start to see the traffic going up, and when you were saying the flocking in Italy, I'm like, oh my God, you know, that's going to create problems. And I think that as long, like, who knows, you know, our government, the Ontario government's been amazing. And I think the second, and did you hear today that cases have gone up today?
Yes.
And not much testing. Like the testing, we were supposed to be over 10,000 tests a day, and like that's not happening in Ontario.
16,000 tests a day.
Sorry, Monty, what was that?
It's supposed to be over 16,000 tests.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, they're not even hitting 10 anyway.
No, we fail every day.
Give us a number, we'll fail it.
Here's the thing. The thing about it's too early is that, you know, people are feeling a lot of pressure. And obviously we see in the States how awful, but people are feeling a lot of pressure, like my job, my business, I have to go. The landlord's charging me rent. Did you hear fucking Doug Ford the other day saying, I'll come down? Like, he goes, the thing I hate the most is greedy landlords. He goes, you know, don't push me because I'll come down on you like you've never seen. This motherfucker is going to do this. But that's what I mean. There's no need to go back. Like, what are we going back to exactly? So that's what, like, people feeling pressured to open things up. Yeah, that's cool. But I think let's do it like a rolling blackout. You know what I mean? This part, like one part might be busy, but not the whole city.
I know that I am terrified of coming back. I personally am. I don't know. I don't know. I swear to God, I've been having like some anxiety, like thinking, oh my God, everything's gonna go back to what it was.
Yeah.
It never will.
No, I
man.
don't want it.
I don't want that
know.
either.
I feel like we're just sliding our way right into the Hunger Games or some kind of Ray Bradbury scenario, some combination of intergalactic labor.
This is when the tribes move, right? It's like the tribes, whoever they are, come together and they're like, we're gonna move together. We're gonna come. Like, if there's a plague, if there's a second wave, you know, they talk about these pods, right? You pick a bunch of people. And then you guys can see each other and support each other. Because what was so hard here was that they're like, you can't go see your friends. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? There has to be some sort of small system for people where they can go and do things with, let's say, a group of 5 people. You know what I mean? But that they don't go to other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a limited network of people. They did some of that in BC, actually.
Yeah, it works.
So a lot of it came up because there were different single mothers and single parents who were like, I can't go to the store with my kid. We're told that we can't go, but I can't bring what do I do with my kid? So there were like these groups of different parents who said, no, we're now a pod and it's our 2 households that equal no more than 5 people. We're gonna support each other. So, but that's the thing that kind of killed me about at least what we're doing with Ontario, talking about reopening, is that I thought to myself, wait a minute, housekeepers can go back to work, but I can't see my dad. I'm like, no, but literally, because that is a job. And I'm not saying that housekeepers, clearly they're like amongst the cleanest people on earth. But it's just more that, but they do go from house to house to house.
True, yeah.
So I was just like, I don't understand how that's less dangerous than me seeing Ennio.
Do you know that in Brazil, the president, some provinces, they said that maids and you know, cleaning ladies were essential business. And that's how much the caste system works in Brazil. And now there's like this huge TV novela star that her and her entire family got COVID from the nanny,
Oh my gosh.
So
and
there's
they are
what? Say
like
that again. Who got it?
a super famous like telenovela actress,
She got
and
everybody
her
sick.
and her entire family
Are they okay?
because they cannot like like clean their own houses. I think they are. I think some people in her family are like worse than others, but I think nobody has died or anything like that.
But they got it from their maid?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're the Tom Hanks of the South America.
Yes. No, but there was a couple already. There's a lot of people infected in Brazil. A lot of people.
Well, I think that also says something about Ontario, though, about the businesses that are being prioritized and maybe the people who are complaining that are being listened to. And it's so funny that we're, because here's the thing is I have just been, I feel sometimes with the Doug Ford thing, I feel like it was such a low bar. I feel like we're impressed by behavior that's really not like it's
That
just
should be
the way
expected.
exactly like shouldn't this just be what you're supposed to do? Because at the same time, like without fanfare, because everything in the media for the most part in Ontario politics has been about the reopen and COVID, is that they have also slowly dismantled a bunch of environmental legislation behind our backs. So that's out there. So if you want to know more about that, you should check out Eco Justice. They're an organization in Canada that supports fights governments who are trying to dismantle. So that's my charitable plug.
Yeah, that's important. I think that is happening in the entire world.
But I think too, and I agree, because there even are the federal government. I mean, there's all sorts of shit going on. But I think like what's good is that what it's worth is, even if Doug Ford is, their government are doing some of these deals, maybe we don't judge him on all of it, because it's not just him. It's like, it's a system. So if Doug Ford was Donald Trump, then we'd be like, you're garbage. But I think like you're right. It's like, it's the least he could be, but it's kind of the most he really is right now. And then that's
he's being his best self. That's for
Exactly.
sure.
That's a gift. Like, what a gift to him and to us.
Yeah, it's not real good, but it's
Doug Ford Tinder profile. Is that what you're saying?
It's always good to have a bad guy though on the good team sometimes. Like even to have a bully stick up for the nerd. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
A My Bodyguard
like,
situation.
Even a shite, like I was going to use a shady person. Struns.
It's been 10 minutes.
So what's next?
I haven't been able to see any of the videos.
Questions.
It's question period.
Oh,
it's actually question period. But just before we go to question period, I want to say to the viewers out there, I'm supposed to say it at the halftime. This is a donor-supported show, so if you'd like to donate, you'll see that it's on the bottom ticker news feed. And if you want to sponsor the show, you email softleft@gmail.com. Like I said, we'll take anything, right, guys? Like, I mean, anything from weed to nuts to candy. I don't care. I mean,
cashews.
Cashews.
Oh, I love it.
And almond flour. That's a hot commodity these days.
Yeah, almond flour would be amazing.
Galen Weston, maybe he can give us one of his cardigans or a pullover.
I'm into Kirkland. I'm into Mr. Kirkland. But you know what? I have to just share a little story today, because today was the first time in I think over 2 months that I shared an elevator with another person other than my co-isolator.
Really?
You know what I mean? And it was like really odd. And I wasn't going to get into the elevator. It was a neighbor, and she had her dogs. So I stepped back, even though I was at the elevator bay first. And I said, please take the elevator. And she's like, she got in and she's like, oh, come in. I'm tired of being paranoid. I'm fine. And I was like, okay. And I kind of felt peer pressured. Nothing I couldn't have conquered. But in my mind, I thought, I feel fine too. And I don't want to have like those thoughts of restriction under illogical circumstances, right? Because we were like over a meter apart. I didn't really breathe deeply. What do you think? Like, are you still not sharing an elevator?
I got an elevator in my parents' building, and a guy got in when I was going down. And I was like, God damn. But I didn't even want to get into the. I was just like, all right, just whatever. And then we went down, and he got out, and I was just like, yeah, I was just shaking my head a lot and going, eh.
I did cuss out a bitch at a pizza parlor last week though, because she just like a bunch of us were waiting outside for our turn to go inside the pizza parlor, and and this woman just like walks right by us and just like glances and just like walks in. And I look at the guy behind me. I'm like, what's with this broad? And so like full Italian came out basically. And so, it's a pizza parlor. I have a right. So I just peek my head in and I'm like, hey, like we're here. I'm just checking on my order. I was just like, yeah, what do you think I'm waiting to do? And she's like, oh, like I didn't know. And I was just like, I just thought to myself, listen, turtleneck. Get to the back of the line.
I love those people.
There
was a guy.
Somebody just. I was on.
Hydrochloric.
There was a bike lane next to my sidewalk. A guy rode by me on the sidewalk. There's a bike lane right there. He's going the other way on the wrong way on the sidewalk.
I saw something. Like, me too the other day.
Yeah.
What do you mean the wrong way on a sidewalk, sorry?
Well, you know, like you're supposed to ride a bike lane with the traffic, I guess, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
This guy's going the opposite way on the sidewalk, and then I was wearing headphones, and he was kind of like, excuse me, and I'm like, are you serious? I almost threw him off the Millwood Bridge. I wanted to, it was like, what are you doing? But I mean, I don't know.
I was at a bakery.
And then I'm just like, yes.
I was at a bakery and there was a guy there, no mask, and then he's just standing around and he coughs. And then he was standing where I had to go and he's like, yeah, come. And I'm like, you got to move. Like, it's too close. And then so he goes, okay. And so he moves. And then we're standing in line. And then he just cuts through the line beside everybody. Like he's getting, and I was like, buddy, what are you doing? And he's like, he goes, I go, you're not respecting anybody's space. And he's like, he goes, ever since you came in, you've been, I was like, what? I said, you've been coughing everywhere. And he goes, you know what? He goes, look at you. You're the one that's sick. That's what he said. I'm like, you fucking piece of, I wish you should. I'm going to kill this guy.
That's the thing is, definitely for COVID, you can't fight people. That's insane.
But this guy, what's that? Oh, hey, Joe, I see it right there. That's so Hollywood Squares, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's so Hollywood Squares.
That's hilarious. I was just say there is a minute and a half left, so it's time to say goodbye.
Okay, yeah, we'll do our goodbyes. This was episode 4. So the show's a month old. How are we a month young? Okay, I think the conversations keep getting more awesome. Thank you to everyone here. Candace, Gregoris, Monty Scott, Phil Luzzi, and Carol Zoccoli, and Joanne Burton of Red Fedora Comedy, Mobs Press, and support Canadian comedy. We're here based out of Toronto, and we just would love you to come back. And again, you can go to Soft Left. The link is below to donate, and if you want to sponsor us, by all means. Down there.
And thanks for your question, Andrew. Sorry we didn't get to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Follow all these people. Guys, you do your outros. You do your outros. Candy, go.
Candace Gregoris on Twitter.
And I am at Carol Zoccoli on Twitter and at Zoccoli Carol on Instagram.
I used Twitter for the first time yesterday in 6 years. And you can follow me on Instagram at Phil Luzzi Official.
Yeah.
Monty Bofo Scott on Twitter and Instagram. And The Impetus of Everything is my podcast on Instagram.
And you, Joe? Go for it, Joe.
Tonight's dance break was brought to you by the Canadian Association of Stand-Up Comedians.
Tonight's what?
Right?
Tonight's what?
Break. The dance break brought
Oh,
to you.
I didn't get to see you. I have to see this episode because I saw none of your videos.
It was
don't know what happened.
fantastic.
Why wouldn't I have seen
You
it?
were.
It's all
Nope.
gravy. We'll get to that next show.
Yeah, I know. I'm literally asking the 10 questions. Yeah,
All
Joe,
right,
bye.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Don't stop
Bye.
thinking enough.
See you next Thursday, 7 p.m.
bye.